Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to my film and TV channel. I hope you enjoy what I've got for you today, and please check out as you're watching this little links on screen as well for different things on my Facebook and Twitter, and of course my football channel as well. And please, all your comments are very welcome. Just let us know and push that subscribe button. Don't forget, please push the subscribe button. Make sure your notification set to public as well if you want to know when these vlogs are coming out. Push that notification button as well. So anyway, please enjoy. Today we're going to have a look at a film today, a fantasy film, a fantasy adventure, medieval fantasy film called The Green Knight. It's also been known as Sir Gwain and the Green Knight by Anonymous. There you go, 125 minutes, so just over 2 hours, just under 2 hours with the credits. It's by David Lowery. This, I remember one from him a while back. We'll talk about that at the conclusion to this little vlog. He directed, wrote and edited and produced all this, so I think he made the tea as well for everybody. And the film stars in the lead role as Gwain, Dev Patel, who plays the Sir Gwain, the nephew, of course, of King Arthur. And this is classed as, if you look at the synopsis, an epic fantasy adventure based on the timeless Arthurian legend. The Green Knight tells the story of Sir Gwain, King Arthur's reckless and headstrong nephew, who embarks on a daring quest to confront the eponymous Green Knight, a gigantic emerald-skinned stranger and tester of men. Gwain, not the jolly green giant, that's for sure. Gwain contends with ghosts, giants, thieves and schemers in what becomes a deeper journey to define his character and prove his worth in the eyes of his family and kingdom by facing the ultimate challenger. From visionary filmmaker, their words not mine, David Lowery. Yeah, I suppose that is what we could call him, visionary. He's quirky, put it that way. Comes a fresh and bold spin on a classic tale from the Knights of the Round Table. Yeah, it's actually based, of course, this story on the 14th century poem Sir Gwain and the Green Knight. There you go. I've never read that, and based on this film, I probably won't go back and read it either. Also stars in the film, we have Alicia Vikander, Joel Edgerton, Sarita Chowdhury, Sean Harris and Ralph Ineson. It was released in the US on July the 30th and is available here in the UK as I'm recording this from weekend in the 13th of August. Yeah, so you've all got a chance to watch this. Is it worth a watch? Let's have a look. Well, here we go. Any good? Scores as at 11th of August 2021 at 3 PM UK time. Rotten Tomatoes, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Approval rating of 88%. 194 reviews, so no mean number. An average rating of 8 out of 10, which is pretty high. 170 fresh and just 24 rotten, so there was a sprinkling of rotten, so there's a little bit of a proviso there. The fresh included Brian Tellerico from RogerEbbett.com. He said, mesmerising journey guided by Lowery's incredible poetic eye. Career best work from Dev Patel and an artistic sensibility that transports audiences to another world. It certainly does. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian, to disguise a film so artful and boldly uncommercial as mass market entertainment for those still hurting from Game of Thrones conclusion. There's your act of heroism. Yeah, that's all I'm going to see. Yeah, it is a positive, that, but I can see a little bit of negativity in there. And one of the rottens, as I said, there's not many rottens, but Simon Abrams of The Rapper said, while there's a lot of commendable chutzpah and curious longing baked into The Green Knight, the movie's never as compelling as it is unusual. I quite agree with the Rap's statement there. And the consensus reads from all the critics, The Green Knight honours and deconstructs its source material in equal measure, producing an absorbing adventure that casts a fantastical spell. There you go. That's so much a spell. I don't think I nearly fell asleep a couple of times, but hey, that might be the power of the spell. The Rotten Tomatoes audience not as overly impressed as the critics, but they seem to be alone on this when I look at the other sites as well for the public's views. 2.9 out of 5, so just under 6. 5.8 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic, how are they feeling? Well, their audience gave it about a 6 out of 10, so that wasn't too bad, but there's not many reviews, so we won't go into that. Metacritic assigned an average of 85 out of 100. 85 out of 100 based on 49 critics. So again, quite a fair amount. And it's got the lowest mark it got was 80 out of 100. And the highest, of course, was 100 out of 100, which I'd totally ignore normally anyway. But hey, there you go. So I'll go to IGN's Christy Puchko, who give it 90 out of 100, who simply stated, "The Green Knight is truly outstanding." On the Metacritic, it's got 43 positives, 5 mixed, and only 1 negative of the 49 critics. So that's not too bad, is it? Right, Joe Public, you, me. Yeah, surprised me a little bit, this, because there's a big wide range of scores in this. But overall, based on 10,073 scores and reviews left, 7.4 out of 10. Now that's a good score. That is a good score on Internet Movie Database. And of that 10,073 scores that have been left and reviews, 8,000, a massive 8,095 scored this 6 or above, which is my magical mark for watchability. 80% of those people thought it was watchable or better. There you go. Right, Bernard, my little thoughts on this. Well, you may have garnered from some of the little comments I've been making. I mean, I do occasionally, there is a film that for some reason, I'm not going to beat about the bush, other people seem to like it. I mean, the critics love it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's the odd critic that doesn't. The majority of the public love it, and based on the reviews I've seen. But I'm obviously missing something with this. As I say, I see plenty of people not liking it and giving it 1 out of 10 and 2 out of 10s and not understanding. I've seen plenty of people giving it 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s and not understanding how anyone can be critical of it, because, you know, obviously we come from the Marvel DC age, so perhaps we expect a little bit more, but I'm not from that age. I like a good film, I like a good fantasy adventure, but I think I'm missing something in watching this. I love the feel of the movie. I love the style, the darkness, the content, the graphics, bits of CGI in it. Obviously, that didn't always work, but I did love that fantasy element. I love swirling mists and strange things going on. I love that, but it never really came all together for me. I mean, Patel does a good job as well. He does an okay, good job. I wouldn't say it was fantastic, but it's all a little bit hard work for me. I thought it was very disjointed, and despite the possibilities of this, I just found it a little bit boring in parts. As I said, I was sort of I may have been a little tired when I watched it. I'm not too sure, as you probably know if you don't watch any of my vlogs. I do some early shifts and stuff like that, so I perhaps wasn't totally au fait with it, but I did find it a little boring. I actually went on to Wikipedia, obviously, which I have a look at sometimes for these, and sometimes I have a very detailed plot of these films, and obviously it sort of reminds me, and I have a look at it. I tend to look at it after I've watched a film, actually, just to see if things are making sense, and I did do with this one. I went on to Wikipedia, and it's a very detailed plot of what's going on, and I do find it hard to believe, reading that plot, that what I watched is connected with that plot. I know it's there, I can see it, of course I can, but it's just the way it was actually put onto the screen doesn't quite match how interesting it looks written down. It didn't seem to fulfill that. So I just think it had a lot of potential, and in my eyes, as I said, I am in a minority, I will admit that, but I just think it fails to deliver. I just don't think it quite works. It may be a film I probably will watch again in the future. Not too soon, but I will watch it again. And perhaps I can glean a little bit more the second time and come on to you and say, I mean, I remember films, I've probably mentioned this in a long time ago, but like Forrest Gump, there's some films that I never quite got into first time round, but then by the second or third watch, I absolutely loved them. So this could do that for me, I don't know. But as I said, I did actually pause and look at it and go back and have a rethink and look again at this one. So yeah, I'm not too sure I'll grow to love this, but I will give it a second attempt. But in the meantime, as I said, I have the director's stuff. I liked his Ghost Story. If you remember that from about 5 years ago, he did a little film called A Ghost Story, Mr. Lowry, and I really like that. And I'm more likely to go back and watch that perhaps and watch this again at the moment. But yeah, so I've no real downer on his style. I think he's very clever, very quirky. But A Ghost Story sort of worked for me. I found that quite entertaining, but sadly this I did not. So I'm not gonna give it a high score. I'm not gonna give it where I don't rate it. I think that's a bit of a cop-out. I am going to rate this, but as I said, don't be totally put off by this. The trailers are excellent. If you watch the trailers, to me, it's nothing like the film, so don't be fooled by the trailers. It is cracking. I did enjoy watching the trailer. I went back and watched that after the film as well. So I am going to give it a score, but I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 10, which is one of my lower scores. If it starts to get any lower than that, I would just unrate it. But I just thought the potential was there, and obviously, as I said, most people seem to love it. I didn't. I just couldn't get into it. And that 4 out of 10 obviously is for the cinematography and obviously for Patel as well. But and a great sounding story, which doesn't quite work for me, for Mr. Lowry directing and editing and making the tea and everything. But it just didn't develop properly for me. I thought it was a little bit disappointing. I was up for this one. I was really keen to hopefully enjoy it, and it just didn't fulfill my expectations, unfortunately. But please let me know what you think. As I said, I will admit that obviously a lot of people might like this a lot more than me. I can only give you my opinion and I will try at some stage to watch it again, but it just sort of fell a little flat for me of what I was expecting from this. Perhaps I was expecting something a little bit different, but knowing the director, I knew it was going to be unusual, but perhaps it was just a bit too unusual for me, this one. But there you go. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. How are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's look after each other. Until we meet again on the film and TV channel here, or if you flit across, have a look at my Citizen channel, my Manchester City football channel. Whatever it is, I only ask one thing of you. Please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.